Here's an intro to the intro. It turns out that I had a little over 20 minutes of content on this, and people don't like watching videos that are that long, so I split it into 2 videos. So this is part 1 of Christmas tree questions and answers, and in a couple days, part 2, Christmas tree questions and answers will come up. Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead and East Fork Christmas Tree Farms. Today is a little bit different video. I've had a lot of people asking me questions, whether at the farm, on the channel, or I see them other places. So I'm going to answer a variety of questions today, from deer to measuring poles to pre-cuts to planting, and just I'm going to give the Cliff Notes version of it, try to be really quick on each one. A lot of these I might have a longer video somewhere else, or I will create one in the future. But also I want you to know, if you're planning to become a Christmas tree farmer, the single most important thing is to have a growth mindset. I stress that with my family, whether it's in sports, academics, or whatever else. Know that you can grow. If you say the word can't, you have to say the word yet. I can't do this yet, and I will be able to do it soon. So have a growth mindset. And one of the best advice I got when Barry and I were starting our Christmas tree farm 21 years ago, whatever it is now, is we were visiting, getting educated, like you people that are watching these videos are getting educated. And then the guy said, "You're doing a great job. Keep asking people, keep learning, but just know this, you're going to make mistakes. No matter how much you learn from other people, you're going to make mistakes, but learn, overcome them, and keep going on, and you can have a successful Christmas tree farm as well." I wanted to do this video outside, but the wind is blowing and causing problems with the camera and the audio. I tell you, doing YouTube, trying to be an outdoor project guy and doing a YouTube channel, this YouTube really slows me down, but I do enjoy it as well. So that's the way it is. So I'm going to come inside, and we're going to have different Christmas decorations as my backdrop that my wife has put up, and then some people want to kind of get to know the person that's doing the channel. So right now I'm sitting at our baby grand piano. No, we did not buy this. My mother-in-law is a piano teacher and a music teacher at the school. She had 2 baby grands. She quit teaching piano and asked my wife if she would like one. So yes, we do have a baby grand piano, which my wife loves sitting down at and relaxing. And during the Christmas tree season, we have the nativity scene on it and the birth of Christ, because, well, Jesus is the reason for this season, so that's why he's there. And another interesting thing, last Christmas, one of my sons and his wife got me a bobblehead doll of Flanagan Homestead. So I'm just putting it up here as the 4th wise man. Just kidding. One of the first questions that I was asked is, Rob, what do you do about deer? And that is a tough one. Different people have different answers. My grandpa, who taught me a lot of what I know about Christmas tree farming, just said, you know, Rob, you're just going to have to plant a certain number of trees for the deer, and just know that they're going to take a percentage, which is really rough. And you know, I hate coming back through the field and seeing a tree that I thought was going to be beautiful, and a buck came through and took out 1.5 feet to 2 feet of the branches, and it's just hard. What can you do? That one I'm still at a loss for. I know having the dogs run around the field is helpful, and we do encourage hunting on our tree farm. If you can find a deer and kill it, please do. I know that sounds harsh, but you know, if it starts getting hunted, the deer tend to move down into the valley, down by the river, and stay away from the farm. So deer is an issue. Just know that if you have a lot of deer in your area, they're going to damage a certain number of trees. We've found, fortunately, that quite often they like to come back to the same trees and not just go down the field and destroy the whole row. Number 2, what type of tree should you plant and how should you shape it? You know, depending on your area of the country, you're going to grow a lot of different things. But do this. Go and see what's the top selling trees in your area, whether it's Nobles, Nordmans, Frasers, Canaan, or I don't even know if I say that right because we don't grow them a whole lot here. Find out what is selling and plant a lot of those. I would recommend, if you're going to have a U-cut farm, have at least 2, probably 3, maybe 4 different varieties of trees to people to choose from. My wife tells me every year, we're going to have a Nordman fir, and it's going to be sheared narrow. And that's one of the things too. The beauties of being a U-cut Christmas tree farm is you get people that like fat and you get narrow, and if they tend to get away from you, people like different things. But this tree is just about touches our 9-foot ceiling, but it's only about 4 feet across at the bottom, and my wife would like that to be a little bit narrower, actually. So when you're shearing your Christmas trees, just know, you know, if you're going for the 40-degree angle or the 45-degree angle, if it gets a little wide on you, and then the tree gets tall, it's hard to bring that back in. But and sometimes I've been stuck with some trees that got a little bit wide, kept going, and nobody really wanted it, but I've never been stuck with a skinny tree that was reasonably full with branches, because as it grows up, people that have higher ceilings but don't want it to take over their entire room like a tree that's sheared a little bit narrower. So not every tree has to be sheared the same, but if you let them get really wide, sometimes it's hard to get rid of them and get them back in. They get too big. Okay, over by the fireplace where the stockings were hung by the chimney with care. This is for my 4 boys, my 1 daughter-in-law, my wife and I. Actually 5 boys. We have another one that lives with us, and rumor has it that I will be getting a couple more daughter-in-laws here in the near future. Not official yet, but keeping an eye on that. Anyway, so people ask, do you really like to plant in the fall more than the spring? You know, traditionally that spring planting is what is done. That's when the nurseries like to ship them out. That's when they like to do it. But we have done fall planting just a few years now, and we have found that we believe that the survival rate is better. Now here in the Pacific Northwest, and we're talking specifically about firs, I've been reading the studies from Oregon State University about how there's a significant amount of root growth in October and November. And so this last year we didn't get to plant as early as we wanted because it was it was wet spring but incredibly dry fall. And I'm a football coach as well. And so some years you go out in the entire August, September, October, it's just getting rained on out here. But this year was really dry. Football season went by, did not get wet once. And you go, what, in the state of Washington? Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, it was an incredibly dry year. But our plan in the future is we keep an eye on the weather reports, and when we see that first series of rain coming in, because we are very dry in July and August actually around here, and then we have our 9 months of rain. So as soon as that rain starts coming in, there's going to be moisture in the ground and it's going to be sealing in. We like to put trees in the ground. So plugs, you're not disturbing the roots because you have the little plugs that you do it, that you just stick in there and the dirt goes with the transplant. We can get bare roots, but if you get bare root at that time of year, you are cutting the roots, which are actually actively trying to grow. But if you get them in the ground quickly, they can continue to grow and grow there. But we feel that it just gets watered in, the roots get established, and if nothing else, the dirt is packed around the roots really good. And we've had better growth in the spring, in the following spring and summer, and better survival if we plant in the fall. Okay, back to the piano for number 4. If I was to start again, the first thing I'd look at, well, besides do I have enough land to grow the trees, is parking. If I want to have a U-cut Christmas tree farm, which is me, I'm not a wholesaler, and even if you have a wholesaler, you need to have room for big rigs to come in and at least turn around and pick up. But it has been an issue at my farm as we grew, and other people that I've talked to as they've grown, and even as you watch other people that have a YouTube channel, parking seems like every year becomes an issue, or as you're growing. So if you're going to do even a small acreage Christmas tree 5 acres to 10 acres, and you're going to be selling 100 to 200 trees in a weekend, you got a plan to be able to have 30, 40, 50 cars at a time there. They don't space themselves out. So if you want to grow Christmas trees and you don't have the ability to park a lot of cars, then try to go wholesale and just cut them all off. If you want to go U-cut and you want to be successful and you want to have hundreds of people out a day, you better have parking for them. All right, number 5 here, should you sell pre-cuts if you have a Christmas tree farm of your own? I was amazed at how contentious this topic has become. Some of us that cut our own Christmas trees, not me, but will badmouth those people that have a pre-cut Christmas tree and put it on their lot because it's just not as fresh, and the likelihood of needles falling out is much greater than if you cut a live tree and take it home. I noticed this last year, I've never seen it before around here, but there were trees being cut down in October before Halloween that were being shipped to California or whatever. And my personal opinion is, wow, how is that tree going to survive? How is it going to hold up? But I'm not the one that's going to say you shouldn't have pre-cuts. But the later it's cut, the better. Honestly, probably the number of Christmas trees in homes across America more are pre-cut than they are a live Christmas tree. Now, obviously, the live is the best. But just so you know, our farm has been really low in quantity right lately, and we've had to shut down really early. And this is due to some issues came up, like can we plant a few years ago. My farm is not on my personal property, it's on my business partner's. Actually, it's not even all on his, it's on family properties. And we didn't get some planting in due to some health issues and some family dynamics issues, making sure how the property was divided up and what we could use. And so there was a few years that we didn't plant nearly what we should have. And so we're kind of in a drought of Christmas trees. And so we've got more trees in the ground right now than we've ever had before. We're excited to continue farming and growing up. But as those thousands and thousands of little trees start growing up, we've been pushing away, almost intentionally pushing away customers because we don't have enough trees. But as we get to a year or two from when we're going to start having all of our trees and having a bunch of them again, we're going to want to have our clientele, our customer base built back up to where it was. I mean, we got to where we didn't have enough trees even when we had a lot of trees, because we were really popular due to the service and everything else that we had. But now we're kind of pushing people away, saying we don't have enough trees, we don't have enough trees. But a few years before all of the trees that are in the ground start going, we're going to probably, we haven't decided for sure yet, but we're probably going to start putting more, bringing in some wholesale trees, some pre-cuts, and so that we can start getting in more people, staying open in a few more days, and start building our customer base back up. And then when we do have enough trees that we can stay open for weeks, then we can advertise, hey, we're fully open, and then those people that want to come back every year, and a lot of people will let us know when you're open on these dates, because right now we're so limited, and they have traditions on when they get it. We'll be back when you're open on these dates, but we're not there. So pre-cuts, if you sell them, do everything you can to keep them fresh. Have them harvested as late as possible, but a lot of wholesalers can't do it super late. And last but not least, talking about keeping a Christmas tree fresh, make sure that they cut the bottom of the stump. Cut that off. I think most Christmas tree growers understand that by now. Encourage them or do it for them. Cut the very bottom of the tree where that is clotted or coagulated and it's not drawing up water very well. Cut that off so right before you put the tree in the stand, and it'll draw up better water and hopefully refresh the pre-cut tree that has been drying out for a month before they put it in their home. So there's the Cliff Notes version on some of the topics and questions that have been coming up. I do have some longer videos on some of these topics and my Christmas tree list on my YouTube channel, so feel free to look at those. Also, if you have any other questions that you'd like answered that I could try to answer, I'd love to hear them in the comments. And many of you Christmas tree farmers that are viewing these and you have knowledge or good ideas, please share them with us so I can learn as well as my other viewers. And thank you for those of you that have commented to me, and even some of you even called me personally and said, thanks for doing the videos. We really appreciate it. We're learning a lot. One of my main love languages is words of affirmation, and I try to be a helpful guy. And so when people say thank you, we really appreciate it. It does mean a lot to me. So anyway, thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching and cleaning horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects are my passion. Hope to see you again soon. Be blessed, everyone, and Merry Christmas.